Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's class. So tonight, we're going to be talking about kind of a stress type thing, or a way you can deal with stress a little bit better. So we're going to be talking about how to change your attitude into gratitude. Now, why is this so important? Well, we know that physical, chemical stressors definitely cause subluxations, but so do those emotional ones. And emotional stressors are some of the hardest to deal with. For instance, this past weekend, we had to put our beloved Jack down. He's been the greeter here since we've opened. Unfortunately, his health was declining, and it wasn't right to let him go on and suffer. So, it's interesting, you have to make choices. And those choices are never easy to make. And you can focus on the negatives, or you can focus on the positives. And that's kind of what this class is about. You have to find a way to focus on the positives. Okay? So, for instance, one way you can do that is doing something called a gas card. Gas card. I'm not talking about like going to Mobil or Exxon or Shell or Speedway or anything like that. I'm not talking that type of gas. I'm talking about gratitudes, actions, and service. So what you do is you get a 3x5 index card, something like that, okay? And then you write down gas. Now, if I did this right, it should show up correctly, and it does. Good. So you have your gratitudes here, your actions here, and your service there. What does this mean? Well, your gratitudes you write down every single day, right? You write down things that you're grateful for, things that bring you joy, things that give you peace, whatever the case may be. Now, those could change daily. For instance, if you're like me and you love snow, you might have snow on your gas card. But if you're like many of my patients, you ain't putting that on there, right? And that's okay. But you might be somebody that loves coffee, and coffee brings you joy. And so you might put that on there. Or you may put your spouse on there. For me, a lot of times the first few items are always the same. They're always God, Crystal, the pups. Those are almost always my first few. Those will change daily. But they also may not change at all, because they may be things that bring you joy. And those things may be the same thing every day. And that's okay. But you're going to write them down every single day. Now, your actions, those are the ones, remember, in the middle here, right? Those are the ones here in the middle. Your actions are, what are you doing to better yourself, or what task do you need to complete to enhance or improve your life? So for many of my patients, it might be their daily exercises that they need to do to improve their spinal health. It may be that they stop smoking, that they stop drinking, or it might be that they need to journal for 5 minutes a day, or 3. Or maybe maybe they're doing a huge journal project and they need to write 3 pages, right? Whatever the case may be, something that you are doing to better yourself. Maybe you're religious and you want to read scriptures. You want to read a chapter a day, right? Or you want to read maybe a verse a day, right? Okay, great. Whatever the case may be. So you write those things down. Now, here's the kicker. 2, no more than 3 things. So for me, for instance, one of those things is billing. I put down things that I need to work on. Now, how does billing better me? Well, it betters my understanding in that so that I can serve my patients better. So when they come in and have questions about, well, why is this covered or not covered, or why is this way or that way or whatever, I'll have the answers. But if I don't do that, I'm not as good for them or for me. So that's how it betters myself. Another thing may be that I need to do the snow shoveling, or maybe I need to do some posts on social media to help others know how to shovel properly, right? Maybe I need to do my journaling, or maybe you might have to, do a project for school or for work or whatever the case may be. You have homework. So whatever it is, whatever you need to do to better yourselves or your life or those around you, that is a big thing. Okay. And that's action. 2, no more than 3. When you get them off, a little check mark goes next to it and you're done with that. Now, if it's something you have to do every day, then great. Put it on there. But once you are proficient at doing it, it needs to come off that list. Okay. And then the last one, the service. Okay. What is special about service? Well, this is something that changes only about once a week. So you're going to put the same service down every day. And it might be something that for us right now on my service is hero boxes. I have been working diligently to get the hero boxes ready for all of you out there to help our men and women service that are stationed overseas. So I've been working really hard to try and get hero box to give us our heroes, right? So that's my service. Now it's also an action for me, but that's a service, okay? Because I don't expect anybody who's grabbing these to say thank you. I'm not asking for any money for these, right? So I don't get anything out of it. That's kind of what the service goes to. It's a secret or selfless service. So this might be, maybe you go to Randy's Diner down in Traverse City and you're sitting there having breakfast. And an aged gentleman comes in using a walker, but wearing a cap on his head that has U.S. Army retired, right? Or Vietnam veteran, or World War II veteran, Korea veteran, whatever the case may be. And he sits down to have his cup of coffee. And you call over your server because you notice that you guys have the same server. And you call over your server and say, listen, whatever he orders, it's on my tab. Don't let him know that I'm paying for it until after I leave. Then you can say just another customer paid for it. And if he's a Vietnam vet, then I would add, tell him welcome home, right? If he's a vet of other types of combat or other times of service, thank you for your service, something like that. That's perfectly fine to do. And you may pay for it and leave. He'll never know who you were, or she will never know who you were, right? They'll have no idea. And it's just something nice. Now, why? What's the point of that? Why do that? How does that help? Well, karma, for one. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that. But there's an adage that you get back what you put out. So it might not come back to you as you would expect it to, but it will come back to you. And it's kind of a pay it forward type thing, but it's just putting good out into the universe. Let's face it. Turn on the TV and tell me what's good on TV. Not what's entertaining. Not what you enjoy watching. What's good? Not much. So why don't we put a little more good out there? That's 52 more good things out there if you do this once a week. Now, once you get it completed, you can very easily check it off like you do your actions and choose something new as a service. But the goal of this gas card is 1 service a week. 2, no more than 3 actions to work on at a single time. And as many gratitudes as you can write. The reason why we do this is then you're going to take this and you're going to fold this, okay? You're going to fold it up so that on one part, it is your service. And on the other part, it is your gratitudes. And then on the back is your action. See how this keeps the service hidden? Okay? So you fold this up and you keep this in your pocket. What this then does is when you have actions that are going on around you, you have times happening that are creating stinking thinking or a negative mindset, you can pull out your gratitudes and you can read the things that you are absolutely thankful and joyful for. And that's going to help change that stinking thinking or the woe is me into the I am grateful for those things. I am thankful for those things. And then you can flip it over and say, what do I need to be doing right now? Instead of, woe is me. How horrible is this? What's on TV? What's on social media? Where are my distractions? And start focusing on the things we need to focus on. Okay. And when you get those done, you can look at your service and you can say, how can I complete that? What can I do to help X, Y, or Z? Now, this might just be, maybe your secret or selfless service is as you're doing your, here in northern Michigan, when we got a little bit of snow, maybe you're snow throwing your driveway and you happen to walk over to your neighbors and say, hey, listen, I'm going to go ahead and do theirs. And so you go through and do their yard. Okay. Or, here at the office, Dr. Rathke and I, we try to make sure that we keep up on the sidewalk. And so maybe that's my secret service or my selfless service is that I go ahead and shovel him out. Right? I mean, there's lots of little things that we can do. And basically what that is what are you doing to better your community? Well, how does buying some veteran better my community? Well, aren't you doing something nice? You are. And by doing that something nice, we never know where somebody else is. We never know the troubles, the strife, the hardships that somebody else is going through. And so by buying that lunch or that breakfast or that cup of coffee or helping somebody cross a street, plowing somebody out, we never know how much that is going to change their life and have a ripple effect on those in our community. That's why we do it. It's surprising how much better our community gets when we start dumping a little bit of secret and selfless service out there, a little bit of good. We know that darkness is the root of evil, and we know that light is the root of success or the root of the opposite of evil, goodness, right? So the only way to drown out darkness is with light. The only way to stop evil is with good, right? If we're throwing, every one of you watching this is throwing 52 things of good out there every year, and that good is multiplied upon others, how much better do you think the society is going to be in just a few years? I think it's going to be amazing. So work on it. Okay, get yourself a little 3x5 index card, right? If you need some, come to the office. I've got some. I'll gladly give them to you. And start working on your gas cards. And you know what? You don't have to share these with anybody. But when you get really proficient at it, then you can do them online. Or you can do them using an app, right? It's always best to start out with pen and paper, okay? It's always best to do that. When you put pen to papyrus, it's the best way to do it. And many of you out there will enjoy doing it electronically. Take a picture. You see this beautiful sunrise. This morning it looked like there was fire in the sky because the sun was hitting the snow clouds coming in. It was beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So you could have taken a picture of that, or maybe you took a picture of the amount of snowfall that happened and you're like, oh my gosh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Or you took a picture of the fireplace inside because, you know, you had a roaring fire and it's so cold and ugly outside. To me, it's beautiful. That might be ugly to you, and that's perfectly fine. But that fire is beautiful to you, right? And so you take something that you're grateful for. Grateful you have a fireplace and you can have fire going. Grateful that you have a hot cup of coffee, or that you made breakfast this morning and power didn't go out, or whatever the case may be, right? So you can write those things down and you can put them using your camera option. When you take a picture, you can edit that picture and add words to it. And that can be your gas card. Well, I really like the picture. I don't want to ruin it. Then you save it as a new one. It's easy to do. If you want help with that, come on in. I'll show you how to do it. Okay? It is absolutely easy to do. And I'm more than happy to help you. Because anytime that we work on bettering ourselves and bettering our community, we will be better. And it's hard, right? It's hard to make that conscious choice to change that thinking. Believe me, it's hard. The last few days have been exceptionally hard. And I'm doing my best to change my thinking, to focus on the positives. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do. To do your best to change that stinkin' thinking into positivity. Let me know how you do with that. If you're wondering how we can help, give me a call. I'll gladly set up an appointment. I am filling up pretty quick for this week, even with the snow. So give us a call. If you don't know our number, leave a comment under here. I'll gladly go ahead and get a hold of you. I look forward to seeing all of you later this week and next week as we continue in our lives. Thank you very much and have a beautiful night.